what we just witnessed with this Ben Crump press conference, it wasn't simply a press conference. This is what I'm going to call a racial liturgy, right? First, you got to invoke the history of slavery and segregation. And he even brought up, look how far back he had to go. He had to bring up Emmett Till and Medgar Evers. He connected the present case, Nolan Wells, to this list of familiar Black deaths. You got Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin. I mean, he went down the list. He got a pretty impressive list. It doesn't matter, right? Forget the fact that the list of the Black deaths, probably 98% of them are just mired in falsehood and race hoaxes themselves. But, you know, we can examine them case by case. But third, what he did was he treated every unanswered question as if the evidence pointed to institutional racism. And we don't even have any evidence. But he just alludes to it and infers and implies. Fourth thing he does, he parades, and I'm using this word, they're not victims because they're allowing themselves, but he's introducing this grieving family. That part is important. The way they hold her hand and rub her back and give her the stage to let her cry, and it's sick, but they're active participants at this point. And then after they introduce the grieving family, they got to rile up the audience, right? Make them chant and repeat the incantation, make them clap too. Whatever it takes, the more the merrier. Justice for Nolan Wells, right? Justice for Nolan Wells. They're demanding justice before having established an injustice.
So this is just an update. But again, for those who don't know what's going on, I'd like to brief you. 18 years old, football player, out on the boat with two friends on the 4th of July. 2 days later, they pull his body out of the water near Horn Island. And that's the starting point. Everything after that is what people decided what the story had to mean. We're going to walk through the actual sequence up until this point with the updates, the distress call, the family statements, and the lawyers who showed up. Now, first, I want y'all to listen to this call. No interruptions. I just want you to pay attention to the tone.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Adgerson. I think it's Jerry Adgerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag
Unless
on
you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 30 degrees, but 4672.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
No, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right. Well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684. north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, it looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Well, this is not the voice of someone covering up a crime. You know, this is the voice of a young man trying to keep a boat from sinking while the dispatcher asks basic questions he can barely answer due to the reception. He says everybody is accounted for. He gives coordinates. He refuses the Coast Guard. Yet within days, the story was already running as if the only possible explanation was that the white friends did something to the one black kid. Now, that leap did not come from the call. It came from a reflex. A reflex that treats every mixed group tragedy as proof of hidden hatred until proven otherwise. And even those, some people still refuse the proof. Now, I want you to watch my guy TJ, the realist, and how fast the narrative moved to the mother and the lawyers.
This is my opinion, and it is what it is. Shit, the majority of this case is about people making opinions, right? So I'm going to make an opinion that's based off reality. Nolan Wells' mother does not like white people. And this happens a lot, right? Black families will move to predominantly white neighborhoods for the sake of the child. The child is living a normal life, but the parents in the back of their head are like, okay, we're going to have our kids around these white folks. You know what I mean? Because it's better opportunity. It's safer. You know what I mean? Because you don't want your kids to be in the ghetto, right? Because they got a better chance of dying through the hands of other black people. So they moved them to these white counties, these white areas for better schooling, more opportunities, and more safety. But in the back of their mind, the parents still kind of do not like white people. But they know that, you know, it's a better chance of survival when they live around white people. But that doesn't mean that they like white people. I guarantee the mother of Nolan Wells has that mentality. I guarantee. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee she would talk to her husband all the time saying, like, you know, I don't really trust Nolan around them white boys like that. But, you know, this is where we live and that's what we're around. You know what I'm saying? If you grew up black and you lived in the suburbs like I did, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that my parents were like that. You know what I mean? But I got a lot of black friends that grew up just like me around white folks or on the countryside, and they would say straight up, look, man, I don't know why my parents feel this way about white folks, but I love white people. And I was the same way. I love white people. And I got a lot of folks in my family that don't like white people. You know what I'm saying? So that's my assumption. Nolan Wells' mother does not like white people like that, but she knows that it's more opportunities and it's a safer environment living around white people.
You know, when a tragedy happens, the first people who should be talking are the ones who are actually there and the family. You know, but of course, you know, now we have to speculate based on the scribes given. You know, and obviously this pattern definitely has a cost. It turns a dead teenager into a prop before the facts are even settled. Now, he was given this respected opinion, so I'm not in no way, shape, or form denouncing that. But I want you to notice the claim that, you know, the friend's parents never reached out until the receipt showed up, showed that they did. You know, correcting it on CNN does not erase the first version. It shows up, you know, and shows how quickly the story has shaped to fit a preferred enemy. Now, the next part matters because it's not new.
But I did not continue to work with Ben Crump. I think we worked together for about 8 or 9 months. I just felt that he was avalanche chasing. He knows that. I say it to his face all the time. Yeah, I told that to him. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, him and Al Sharpton and them, and I just didn't feel that he knew what he was doing. I was getting phone calls from other attorneys stating that he didn't know the law. I wasn't feeling good about it. We just wasn't getting the answers that I wanted or I needed, and I wasn't getting like paperwork when it came to motions being filed or even, contact. Anytime they contact with the prosecutor, I need to know everything was going on with my son. He was not getting no real justice.
So they were PR advocates. Rage baiting.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But there's no output.
Yes, no
it's
solution.
just like, there's a face, there's a name, say his name, Tamir Rice, but like when it comes to actually getting justice and suing the city, you had to go get somebody else to do that?
Yeah, I did. Ben Crump wasn't able to do that at the time. My wrongful docket was like 8 or 9 pages long.
With Ben Crump?
Yes. So when my third set of attorneys had got it, it ended up being 139 pages long. So I don't know what Ben Crump was doing. I don't know if he had the skills at the time to even take my case where it needed to be. I wasn't trying to get just hurry up and settle out of court. I really wanted you to go in there and fight. And then, they just say he wasn't a great talker back then. So I just kept getting phone calls about him. All of these folks, and nobody is showing us how to get no indictments. I had to let them know my son ain't he's not a hustle. His death is not a hustle. So I just got a little aggravated because I kept seeing all of these activists doing things in memory of people's children, and we wasn't getting no real justice.
So Tamir Rice, mother fired Ben Crump. She said it plainly. She called the approach ambulance chasing. She said the paperwork was thin and the real legal work had to be done by someone else. That should have been a warning label right there. Instead, the same names keep getting invited into every high-profile case involving a black victim and white individuals. At some point, it stops looking like justice and starts looking like a business model that needs a certain kind of story to stay open. Now, the backlash against the one person who actually went and talked to the friend.
So I'm sitting here watching this Brandon Tatum interview with Nolan Wells' friend Warren. I got it playing on the TV right there. They both go. I'm trying to understand what it is that y'all mad about with Brandon Tatum. I done seen some of the white liberal saviors and black folks get on here and talk shit about him. Why y'all mad that he went to go talk to Nolan Wells' homeboy who just so happened to be a white boy? If you mad at that, go eat a dick because you part of the problem. And the white liberal saviors, they the biggest part of the issue, but that's a whole nother story. What I'm saying to y'all is, this is Warren. They in Mississippi. Nolan Wells' friend. He said, man, I met Nolan Wells in the 8th grade. We was super cool. We started getting tight after that. Nolan Wells, always smiling. He bring joy to everybody. Any room he walk in, he light the room up. Man, I text him all the time. He in the group chat. We hang out every time we come back from school. He said, no, I didn't really go over his house like that, but we was still close. That didn't mean nothing. And here y'all go, oh, well, how y'all close and you never went to his house? That's why I hate social media, because y'all get on here and act like life just perfect. I got so many homeboys in my life whose house I never went to as kids. But when we got grown, yes, we hung out. That does not mean this person not my friend because I never went to their house. What type of shit is that? Y'all logic is crazy, dog. Your logic is crazy. But I remember, we on social media where y'all like to make up bullshit. So I'm just trying to understand, mainly to the white liberal saviors who think they know everything what's good for black folks, and to my black people who can't let racism go. What are you saying about Brandon Tatum and this white boy that's making you mad? Because now that means you mad at Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells is a fool for being friends with this white boy, because y'all saying this is who took his life or got something to do with it. I thought y'all wanted racism to end. You don't want that shit to end. White liberal saviors and black folks got a racist fetish. They want to hear racist. Their mind can't compute like, hey, this didn't have nothing to do with racism. They want to believe it was racist so bad, and I don't understand that shit. I'm confused. Because I'm sitting here watching that shit. I'm looking for some racist shit. I'm looking for something that look fishy. And I can't find none. I'm just seeing regular conversations. I done seen racist white people. I'm black. I've been black my whole life. I know how they look, how they talk, how they walk, all the dog whistles they use and the microaggressions. I know this shit. Imagine like a regular white boy in Mississippi who like to fish and hang out with his partner who just so happened to be black. Man, get the fuck out of here, dog.
Asking why people are angry that someone interviewed the other side is the right question. If the facts are strong, the interview should not threaten anything. The angle only makes sense if the preferred version of events cannot survive contact with the people who were present. This is not investigation. This is protection of a narrative. Now, here's the clapback, that triggered even more of it.
Let me address the optics issue here first, which is weird for a white guy to say this to a black man, but there are people in the black community who are going to say, I can't believe you had that Brandon Tatum on. He's not a real black guy. He attacks the black cause. It doesn't matter that he's black. He's worse than a white racist. What do you make of that allegation, and why do you think it's out there?
Well, Chris, thank you so much. And I'll say this, man, we're all Americans at the end of the day, so I don't take any offense of you using your freedom of speech and your commentary to come up with these things or make your point. I think it's laughable. I mean, for somebody to say, I don't like the black community because I'm willing to find both sides of the story to get to what happened to Nolan Wells, I mean, people should be ashamed of themselves for even framing me like that. But the problem is many people want this country to stay divided. They want us to stay in a sense of fight or flight mode, and that racism is the main focus, and that's the main contributor to black success or failure in this country. And it's just not the case. Most people are not worried about race. I'm sure you and I couldn't care less what color somebody's skin is. Are you a good person or are you not a good person? And some things that I found out after going to Mississippi and talking to a whole slew of people is that in this situation, it does not appear that race was a factor. A young man lost his life, and I think that's what we need to focus on, and we need to focus on finding out how he lost his life.
Brandon Tatum did the one thing the outrage machine seems to hate. He treated his friends as human beings instead of characters in a racial morality play. For that, he gets called racist by people who never sat across from Warren Hudson. The demand is not for truth. The demand is for loyalty to the script. And when a black man refuses the script, the reaction is often more vicious than when a white man does the same thing. You know how that goes. This is the part that should have been the center of the conversation from the beginning, though.
Warren, I'm going to ask you some very pointed questions. I mean, just straight out.
Okay.
I didn't come down here to, do anything other but to get the truth, right, and for you to have a voice in this.
Right.
And the first thing I want to ask you is, did you kill Nolan?
Of course not.
Did you have anything to do with Nolan's death?
Of course not, and absolutely not.
They say that you guys deleted stuff out of his phone. Did you delete anything out of Nolan's phone?
No, of course not.
The mom acted like, or at least she portrayed on television, and the rumors are that you weren't really good friends with Nolan. Is that true or not?
Absolutely not. I hung out with Nolan probably like 3 days a week. I mean, seriously, at least. Some days my friends want to hang out every single day, and Nolan was always there. So,
and obviously people may see this and know the facts later, right, that you weren't able to go to the funeral, mm-hmm, or the memorial service.
Right.
Why didn't you go? What was that?
Well, I mean, with everything going on social media right now, with people saying the crazy things that they're saying, I would never want to take the attention off of Nolan and his family. They don't deserve that. And, for own personal reasons, I mean, I've gotten thousands of death threats. My family's got thousands of death threats. And, for my own safety, I'm not going to put my own health and safety at risk. It breaks my heart that I can't go, and it hurt me more than anything. Because, obviously I want to say my last goodbyes to one of my best friends. But, I mean, if I'm getting thousands of death threats with people saying they're going to kill me and do crazy things to my family and I couldn't bring myself to go because, I got to put my own safety first. And even if that means, missing my friend's funeral, I mean, it's horrible. And I wish I could have been there. But, that's what's been going on,
He said, I considered him a brother. He said he never touched his phone, and he was getting thousands of death threats that kept him from the funeral. Those are not the words from someone who got away with something, in my opinion. Those are the words of someone who lost a friend and then got turned into a villain for simply existing. You can believe the family is grieving and still accept that the people on the boat are telling a coherent account of a mechanical failure and a series of bad decisions that ended in a young man in the water. Both can be true at the same time. The refusal to hold both ideas, that's really the actual problem. So a boat takes on water, a group of teenagers, panic, and one of them stays behind. 2 days later, he's gone. That sequence is tragic enough on its own. Turning it into a racial indictment before the investigation is complete does not help the dead. It does not help the living. It only trains people to see every mixed friendship as a potential crime scene. Now, that mindset is corrosive. It teaches young black men that white friends are always a risk. It teaches white kids that any accident with a black peer can end with their names dragged through the mud. And it hands the loudest microphone to the people who have a financial and political interest in keeping the temperature high. Truth does not require a preferred skin color for the villain. It requires the willingness to look at the distress call, the phone records, the timeline, the actual statements from the people who were there. Even when those statements refuse to flatter the story some people needed it to be. Grief is real. Suspicion is understandable, but replacing both with a pre-written script is how we keep burying the same mistakes under new names. So if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to put no script. And stop judging by mere appearances, but instead judge correctly. This is John 7:24. Be safe. Go check on someone today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.